Alrighty, welcome back to InstructorBot. So here we are, we're doing our first tutorial. This will be going over on how to create that crate texture we were talking about in that first movie, the intro video. So let's go ahead and create 8 new. So you can press Control N. Usually a lot of times you'll have a lot of functions that are that have shortcut keys next to their actual. You can just see it up on the right hand side. You can press Control N, or you can just you can name this crate. So give it a name, crate. Always name things, guys. This is very important as well, just to keep things organized. So 3000 pixels, that's a little too big. We want to go really small because we only have a certain section of the screen that's going to have this crate. So I can imagine anywhere from like 64 pixels by 64 will just be one side of a box. So 64 by 64 sounds fine. Resolution 300, that's okay, that's fine. Press OK. Zoom in on this bad boy. So as you can see, it is really small. It comes in really small. That's fine. Just zoom in on it. So just to show you guys how you did that, I press Z, or you can use the zoom tool, which is located here. There it is, right there, at bottom right there. Zoom tool. This is Z. You can hold Alt to zoom out, and just leave it as is to zoom in, or you can use this. If it's on negative, it'll automatically zoom out, even if you don't even hold the button. Or Alt will be the opposite usually. Alt just means like alternate. So the alternate function. So yeah, so usually we have it on plus. It's a standard default. So alright guys, so let's get going. So we're gonna take this background layer, double click it. Let's say let's name it background BG. And I mean, it already is a background layer. It's locked. We want it unlocked. We're going to go ahead and create another layer. So what I do to create another layer is I go and press this button, this little button in the right hand corner right here, create new layer, or I'll just use the shortcut key Control Shift N. And what that'll do is create a new layer for you. Control Shift N. And so I'm going to name this layer wood. Wood texture 1. Press OK. This will be our first plank. So what I want to do here is keep it on black and white. Keep those two there. We're going to be working in black and white for right now. I'm going to go to Filter, Render. I'm going to do Clouds. You can see it puts all these kind of like smudge across. Looks like almost like a gradient, but with a little bit of things here and there. That's fine. That's fine. It's what you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a plank. We're going to bring our snap. So settings. So make about maybe 10 units. 10, 12 units is fine. 12 pixels, I mean. So 12 pixels is fine. Every 12 pixels, let's see what we get. 24. Let's see, so 36. Okay, and then 48. And 60. So looks like we have a little bit of space left over. So I think that's fine for right now. You can go ahead and hide just to get you an idea how we're going to divide this up. Really, you don't have to be too crucial. Right now snap isn't set on, so what I'm going to do is window. I'm sorry, view. See, extras is checked. Snap. You want to check that too. What I'll do is I'll snap to the corner right there. Just kind of evenly space these out. Let's see. Let's kind of guesstimate what you think. This is because this will be basically our planks going in between here. And what? There you go. Make sure you go to Window. I'm sorry, View, Snap, and what that'll do is snap to the sides. Right here, it'll take this right here and snap. And I'm using the Move tool right now. I probably went ahead. I just didn't realize it, but yeah, just press V to use the Move tool, or you can just put your cursor over the top. Find out what the shortcut key is. V. So it's an easy way to finding out your shortcuts. Also, like I said again, looking on the right hand side as well. So yeah, I mean that looks pretty evenly spaced out. It's pretty nice, uniformed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically transform this to be one of these, to be the size of one of these planks right here. This is where one of our planks are gonna be. So a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 planks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control T here. And what that does, it transforms it. So, or you can go to Edit, Transform, or Free Transform. And you just want to scale this down to one of those planks. You see how snap is on? It's just automatically snapping in there. That's what you want. So there we go. There's one plank. You see there's just so much variance here within this texture right here. And that's what you want. That's really what you want. So, and then also, another thing we want to do to this texture is add some grain or something to it. So I'm going to go to Filter, Stylize maybe. How about, let's see here. Noise. Add noise. Let's add some noise in there. Let's make it all. See, Gaussian. Just a little bit. Not too much. Just to give it some texture, some feeling, you know? Yeah, so by point, about 0.3. That's a little too light here. Let's do that again. So you go Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and let's change it to maybe about, let's see what, 0.7. A little bit more. Actually looks like around 4, right? So let's just change it to 4. I think I was going way too low. There you go. 4 is fine. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do is we want to add some, like I said, we'll just work in black and white right now. Right now I'm in the pencil tool. You can use a brush. Brush is great because you'll have some edges that are anti-aliased, and they basically what it does is it blends in with the next pixel over. So like I say, if you have black, it'll turn into a lighter black or a lighter version of black. It kind of changes opacity. But yeah, so let's change. So let's change this black into like a lighter. I usually work with black and white a lot, and then I change the colors after. So let's add some lines down the center. There, let's change this brightness. And again, I have on color over on this right hand side. Let's change it to HSB sliders, and that's what will bring up hue, saturation, bright. This panel right here, what I have. Just lower it down. Maybe it's too light. Maybe let's try 60. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do some. There we go. So we have some grain coming down on this wooden plank. Something like that. Let's get a little darker with it. Don't be too afraid. Some difference and variation in your texture. Some knots maybe. some kind of let's just draw, you know, have fun, get creative. And then yeah, so that's that. And then what I'm gonna next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and mess with its hue and saturation. So to do that, I go to image adjustments, or I can just press Control U. That'll bring up this. And when you bring up this, right now you can see it's not doing much. I mean, it's just changing the lightness. You can't really change the hue. What's going on? Oh no. So what you do is you press colorize. And what that'll do is you have adjustment over the hue. And it'll take that black and white and just totally colorize it for you, which is really cool. And you have your values already set up for you with the black and white being pushed out, in and out. Little chiaroscuro right there, a little action, chiaroscuro action. And so yeah, it looks somewhat decent. Let's bring up the lightness, maybe a little bit darker, I don't know. I think that looks good. That looks kind of like a wood. Make it more brown. Bring down the lightness. Bring down the saturation. You know, just mess with the settings. You know, have fun with it. And then just zoom out and see what you got. Wow, it looks really good actually as is. So next thing I'm going to do is what we're going to do is we're going to bevel and emboss it. So beveling and embossing, what you do is you create this is called a smart layer, and you just double click your layer and it brings up this panel for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check bevel and emboss, and I'm going to click on it too as well. Check it, click on it. Let's add some depth. There's a little bit of depth. Size, change the size, make it more crisp. Let's unsoften that thing, make it a little harder, and that way, but it looks like it's lit from underneath. We want this to be the opposite way, or kind of on the side for right now. Maybe this, just to be safe, put it on the side, give it a screen. Try to see what overlay does. Yeah, overlay, that's what you want right there. Overlay will put it in there nicely for you. And yeah, so some depth. Just give it that depth. Makes it look like it has some perspective in there. And when you bring in a crazy bump, it'll notice that too. The darker it pushes in the Z, the blue channel, the on your normal map. So we'll go over that stuff later. But yeah, so that's one plank. That's pretty much the hardest part of this tutorial. So next, the rest of it, I mean, it's pretty easy. All you do is copy, copy, and copy. So what we want to do is just take this wood texture, duplicate it. I mean, copy and paste, or you know, you can copy layer style, paste layer style, or you can just duplicate the layer. I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm just going to bring it over. Bam. That's the second plank already. You have that already set up for you. If you want, you can press Control T. Since you already have snap on, it'll snap to that next. Let's see. Let's zoom in. Yeah, it looks like it's... Let's take off snap just to get... Sometimes snap can be a pain in Photoshop. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and save my works right now. So I'm going to save as, create, see, tut, save, just to be safe. So I'm going to press Control T. Oh, first I'll press Enter first, and then turn off snap. especially if you're working in high resolution. Sometimes you won't need it. You just bring it 1 pixel over, 1 or 2 pixels over, and it'll be fine. And then go ahead and do the same thing. So Control Alt also does the duplicate, and it creates another layer for you. You can also rotate it just to add a little pizzazz to it, and make sure you don't rasterize these layers, because what that'll do is not keep that little highlight in there for you on that one side. And then also do it again. So the reason why I flipped is to switch up the continuity of the texture is just so consistent. So you can do every other, or you just mess up the patterns. You know, that's another way of changing your style and just getting creative. Alright, so let's hide the rulers right now. So what we're going to do is go to View, the extra. So Control 8 is extras, so hide that. And that's what we got so far. You can see our wooden planks looking pretty good. Not too similar all the way through. Very, 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 very nice. So that's one plank. That's one side of a box, actually, right there. That right there, we're pretty much almost finished, so just keep hanging in there, guys. Next thing we'll be doing is taking this canvas and let's say multiplying it by 4, so 64 by 64 squared is 128 by 128. So what we'll be doing is taking it and just times it by 4 more pieces. We're adding one up here, one over here, one over here, just to add some variance and style. Because as you can see, this right here is even just grainy itself, and this is supposed to be game resolution. So game resolution textures, you really want to keep textures low as much as possible, especially if they only have like a little bit of on-screen camera time, or if they have if they're just taking a certain section of certain section of pixels on your screen. So I'm going to keep it at 128 by 128. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this, and I'm just going to go canvas size, and I'm going to increase it over to the, so push that left, and it'll open up this side, and change that width another 64 pixels. That will add 64 more pixels to the right side, as you can see right here. And then do the same thing with the top too. So the top height, you want to increase it another 64 pixels. So 64. I like to keep in a little box sometimes when I'm working, because it just helps me keep things organized. And when I have everything set, like the foundation, everything else follows easily. So 64. Let's go into another 64 for the height, and just push this guy down this way. So this spare area up here, the anchor area, is open. There you go. You have a 128 by 128 canvas. If I go to canvas size, you'll see that the width is 128 pixels, the height is 128 pixels. So let's go ahead and switch up this texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these layers, hold shift, and select the bottom wood texture layer, leave the background alone, and then we're going to press Control G, and what that'll do is group it. You want to double click the group layer, just name it first panel. Oops, first pane. Let's see, first panel. First panel. Press enter. There you have it. So that's your first set right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide it. I'm going to increase this. So I'm going to take this background layer. I'm going to press G for the paint bucket, and I'm going to flip the colors. Or you can press X. X will do that automatically, and just whiten it out. So I'm going to go back to the first panel, turn on the whole entire group layer, and that will basically do that for you. So then with this, what's cool is when you group it, you can duplicate the group. So let's duplicate the group. Let's do a second panel. Let's name this second panel. Second panel. Press OK. Do the same thing again. We're going to create 4 of these guys, so 4 sides of the box. 2 of the other sides will be sharing, like the top and the bottom especially, will be sharing the same exact texture. So duplicate, third panel, third panel. You know, this kind of reminds me of is like Minecraft. Like you see all these little pixels and different things like that. It's really cool. So third panel, and then also do that again one more time, and let's do the fourth panel. And what that does, it just makes things easier for us. We just duplicated everything, and everything is more organized this way. So what we can do now, we can take the 64 by 64. We know it confirms the 64 by 64 space, so therefore if it's going to snap, it's going to snap pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn back on snap and go into view, snap, and I'm going to take each panel just by selecting the group folder, and it'll grab every single one. You can see that right there. Bam. Snap that. Looks like it's a little offside, so what we can do is just transform. Use the transform tool. See, that's where snap is screwing up. I don't want that. I don't want it to overlay too much. I mean, it looks fine, but it's not going to be good. So let's do take off snap again. So you can either go Control Shift, is it parentheses, and let's do that again. Let's do it just by 1 pixel. There you go. See, as you can see, snap is off, and then you want to do that. You can do that with a third panel. Just take it out because they're all on top of each other. Go straight up with this one. And then the last one would be the second panel, which we haven't touched yet. So that looks pretty good. Let's check the fourth panel real fast here. Looks like it's a little open right there. Alright, so we got something like this. So let's go ahead and hide off one panel at a time. So what I'm doing is I'm hiding layers, as you can see right here on the right side. Little eye icon means it's visible, not visible. So third, fourth. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to take one of these panels right here, this wood texture, and I want to duplicate it again. And what I'm going to do with this wooden panel right here is I'm going to create a top and bottom for my crate. So I'm going to create this old-fashioned like X where you open a crate that way, that the X top or the X bottom part of the crate. So wood texture, that's a top and bottom, top underscore bottom, wood texture top bottom blank. So you want to get used to naming things in in proper naming conventions, like much shorter, abbreviated too. So you can go WTTBP or BOTPLA or wood TEX top BOT plank. You know, just figure out a way to name it shorter, other than what I just did right now. So yeah, I duplicated that, and what I want to do is I want to take it. It's a nice one. So take that and just Control T. Just flip it. Hold Shift to snap. Hold Shift again to bring it straight down. And there you go. So now you have a top. Control Alt is to duplicate again. Oops. Let's just duplicate that one layer. Sometimes it helps to just duplicate that one layer too, because like sometimes it'll just grab the layers underneath it, and that's not what you want. So let's copy. It's fine. Control Alt. Oops. I didn't need to do that. So just grab that one layer, bring it straight down. And with these two layers, what we can do is we can add, I should have done it with the first layer, but we can add a drop shadow. And a drop shadow, what that does is creates a shadow underneath to make it look like it's popping out still. So distance, I don't want it to be that far. That's way too far. The spread, you want that about that much. Size, not that bad. Let's get up and down. Let's not use global light. Let's Control Z that. Okay. Just kind of fill it out, see what you want to put on there. So opacity, let's make it. There we go. Something like that looks good. Let's bring its opacity down just a little bit. You can take that layer style, you can copy layer style right there, and then you can paste it as well. Paste layer style, so it'll apply the same to the bottom copy. See how the bottom did that? So we're going to make an X in between this. So to do that, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to duplicate the plank. Control T. This time you don't really have to use snap. Just kind of estimate where you want it, just as long as both sides. And I usually hold Shift when I drag, just to keep things uniformed. Just drag it up in there. And to me that looks pretty good in a way. Let's bring it down just a little bit more. That's a little too much. What you're looking for is to line this corner along with this edge, and then this corner along with this edge. So just kind of just eyeing and eyeballing it, and that looks good. So I'm going to press enter. That looks pretty good. So that's on top. What I want it to be is on the bottom. So I'm going to drag this layer underneath the top two layers. Therefore it's on the bottom. It looks like a Z almost. And then what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to take it and we're going to duplicate it. Duplicate layer. And when we duplicate it, we're going to go to image. We're going to go to adjustment. Oh, I'm sorry. Image. Edit. I'm sorry. Transform. You're going to flip it horizontal. And what that'll do is create that X that way too as well. And if you want, you can take the move tool, press V, use the arrow keys on the keypad and move it to the left or right if it's out of place. If you feel like, I don't like it right here, blah, 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 you just, just fill it out. Fill out, see what you think. All right. I mean, that to me looks like a good looking, that's a thick, solid crate right there. I actually like this one a lot better than my first one. And then after that, you want to, let's go ahead and create a new layer. Let's create a new layer. Let's define the cracks in here a little bit more. So I'm just going to press Control-Shift-N. Okay. B, and I'm going to just sample a dark color. Let's say like that color. I want these layers, these planks to have that kind of. So let's see here. So I'm just gonna hold Shift. Actually, a little bit darker. Let's use 100. And let's put this layer under all of those layers. That way it's like right in between those cracks. We'll just darken it up. If it doesn't look right the first time, you always can fix it. And that looks pretty good. That's the touch up that first crate. That's the top. We got some sides going on. We can use that as a side. Yeah, let's do the same thing with the second panel. Let's create a new layer right above the layer 1. And what is that? The first panel. Actually, I can take this layer. I can duplicate it. So, actually, no. Let's not do that. Let's go straight up to the second panel. So you got the second panel. Let's add a new layer. Let's go in there and start painting in those cracks a little bit more. That way you can see it protrude out a little bit more at least. Just, just add your style, add your taste to it. It's looking good. Alright. That one's done. So second panel, we got 2 of them down so far. Let's get creative with the third one. Let's do something different with this one. So what do you guys think? Let's go ahead and we'll do the same thing first. Yeah, we'll just we'll draw in those cracks again. Let's just kind of make it stand out a little bit. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to just take one of these woods. Let's duplicate it. Just give it a different pattern. Just press V and that will take that texture for you. Control T, let's transform it, let's flip it. Let's give it another plank going this way, another plank going that way. Press Enter, press Alt, Control Alt. I'll see. Let's just duplicate that layer because sometimes it just takes the whole thing. Like I said, just duplicate it individually. I don't know why Photoshop doesn't take the topmost layer, but so yeah, just take that. Oops. This wood texture 1. There we go. It's up here. Bam. So we got 1, 2, 3 different patterns going on here. That's exactly what we want. So let's get creative. Let's go ahead and let's say if we want some graffiti or we put fragile or something on there. Let's put something cooler. Let's put I don't know. Let's put a monster inside. I like it. Makes it more mysterious. Put a, who knows what kind of monster it is? Probably the Loch Ness monster. Oh well, it would be in a bowl if anything, like a fish bowl. But let's see. So let's put monster and press enter inside. And what I did was I just added a text layer. You can either press T for text, or you can go over here on the left side. There will be a text layer. Text menu item. So let's highlight that whole thing. Let's make it a more kind of like a crazy color. Yeah, how about a green? Like green, it kind of reminds me of like slime or something. So let's put monster inside lowercase o. It's not a monster, it's a monster. It's not a monster inside there. Okay, so you got monster inside. So, and then after you do that, you want to just overlay. Just overlay this bad boy. And that way it looks like it's on top of the wooden panels. And if you don't see it too bright, don't worry about it. You can fix that. So to fix that, you just kind of want to rasterize the layer. Rasterize type. Actually, let's go through the type, see what kind of type you guys want. So I'm highlighting it, right? And I'll go to the right here where it says consolas. We're going to change that type from consolas to Constantina to whatever you feel. Oh, that's a cool font right there. I like that. Yeah. Monster inside. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to rasterize this layer. Monster inside of the box. I am the monster inside the box. Okay, let's see here. I'm having too much fun. So I'm just going to press Control U, or if I'm sorry, not Control U. Let's see, adjustments. You want to go to Control M, curves. And what curves do, so I'm going to press Control M. You can make it saturated a lot more to where it stands out. Bring it up on the RGB channel. This is the RGB. You can select each one. You can change the colors even if you need to, but I like this green. Let's leave it a monster inside. Right there. That's a dangerous box because there's a monster in there. You don't want to touch it. Oops. There I am on the text. See, sometimes when you press, when you're on T and you press the anywhere inside here, you don't want to do that because you'll mess up and you're gonna cry, and then you're gonna have to delete it, and it's no fun. So let's see here. So, all right, wooden textures. I think we need to darken up in between these panels. Let's give it that last. We're pretty much done here. I mean, really, like, yeah, you guys should be proud because this is a really cool crate texture, and when you put it in the game, you can run around it, jump on it, hide behind it, shoot some enemies behind it. You know, it'll be fun. So, yeah. So, yeah, let's add another layer. And let's bring it underneath all the other layers. So, let's see, so this is the fourth panel. And that's what you want. You want to bring it underneath the bottom. Press B for your brush. B for brush. And then just go ahead and sound like a granny. But there you go. So just like go ahead and give some nice, flavor to it. Flavor. There you go. That's a little too dark on I want it just that one section. Right. Yeah. That's it. Alright. So, that is it, guys. That is the tutorial for creating. Just, if you see anything else open, just add your little flavor to it. Just get creative. Highly recommend getting a Wacom tablet pen or Wacom. Wacom just sounds, I don't know, it sounds funny to me when people say that. It's like one of those whack-a-moles or something. It's just, I don't know. But just have fun. Get a Wacom tablet. I highly recommend it. It's probably the best value I've ever spent on, best value, best, thing you can spend your money on. It's a really valuable tool to have. So you can do digital paintings, you can 3D model this way, believe it or not. I'm one of those people who use a Wacom tablet to 3D model. A lot of people don't do that, but I just find it fast and easy, and I like rotating around my models, zooming in real fast on them. I don't know, I just have that comfort with it. But yeah, guys, that's it. This is a tutorial, and I just want to say thank you for watching, and that's it for this Instructabot tutorial. Yeah, so next one we're going to go over, you guys know it already, either 3D Studio Max or Maya. Feel free to put any one you want to. If you guys have a preference, go for it, but I highly recommend learning all software, all 3D modeling tools, all digital sculpting tools. I mean, it's all going to be very valuable to you guys in the end. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks.